So when I was thinking about this, one way that we break down motivation research when talking to teachers a lot is to focus on the ABCs of motivation. And I think this can be a really helpful framework for parents as well. So the ABCs that I'm going to talk about come from a theory called self-determination theory, which is a really complex theory that has been researched for decades, but it focuses on the differences between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and on these three basic human needs that all of us have in order to feel motivated by something. And those needs are autonomy, belonging, and competence. So I'll talk through each of those. So the first one, probably the most important, especially for teens, is the need for autonomy. Autonomy means that the teens want to feel in control of their own lives. They want some independence, and they want to have choices in what they do and how they do it. They want to direct their own lives, basically. So in order to help motivate your teen, I would say to try not to demand what they should do, especially with threats and consequences. But rather you want to try to help them make good decisions right now. So saying things like, look, I know you have a lot of work to get through. Would you rather wake up early, get it all done? Or would you rather, take your time and maybe start after lunch? So giving them those choices. Now, sometimes it's not practical to really give a choice about something, they have to do their work no matter what. So in those cases, it can help people feel more autonomy actually when you empathize with their perspective. So empathy is really important here. Saying things to your kid like, look, I get that you really don't want to do this. And I understand I wouldn't want to do hours of schoolwork at home either. I know it's not as fun when you're not at school. So how can we make it easier to get through it? Maybe a schedule would help, and sort of problem solving with your child there. I think this empathy and this understanding just goes such a long way. So let them know that it's okay. As Michelle said, they have big emotions right now. Let them know that those emotions are normal and it's okay to feel that way, that nothing is really ideal right now for any of us. And we're all kind of going through this together, but that you understand where they're coming from, and that can help them feel like they have more of a choice because their perspective has been validated in that sense. So that's autonomy. Whenever possible, giving students choices, helping your child make these decisions on their own rather than putting it out for them is going to help them feel more capable, more in charge of doing it themselves. Now the B stands for belonging. It's kind of this sense of relatedness or a relationship. We all have a basic human biological need for close relationships. Now teens, as we talked about, are typically fulfilling this need with their social relationships with friendships. And I know this isolation right now is really tough on teens. So their desire to talk and text and FaceTime with their close friends is really understandable and normal. And if there's any way that their schoolwork can be collaborative with friends, that can help improve their motivation. But they can also fulfill this need for belonging through their relationships with you as their parents and with other family members. So again, empathy comes into play here. Validating their feelings and showing genuine interest in what they're thinking and how they're doing can help to strengthen your relationships right now, and that can be really helpful. Also taking breaks, making time for fun with them, letting them know that you love them and that you're proud of them when they're doing really hard things like this. You'll see that when they're in a good place in terms of feeling loved and feeling like they belong, they will be more inclined to be motivated to work. It's not perfect, but it does help. That sense of relationship and belonging does help. And then the third need is kind of something we talked about a little bit before. It's the C for competence. And so this is when I talked about how we feel more motivated when we're capable of accomplishing something. So if you suspect that your child might be lacking motivation because they just don't feel competent at something, like maybe they think something's too hard or they're complaining they don't know how to do something, as a parent, I think you can try to find ways to help them feel more capable. So for example, if a child is feeling overwhelmed just because there's so much work, you can help them by helping them learn how to make checklists or to-do lists to make their work feel more manageable. So take a big project and break it down into small chunks. What do you start with? What's the next step? And having them make these to-do lists can be a great way to make them feel more competent. And actually, it can be a great life skill for their entire lives. I still do this myself when I have a project to work on and I make my to-do list and I cross it off, and it feels so great when you accomplish one small thing and then you feel more motivated to do the next step. So helping them learn that skill can really be helpful. And each time they get to cross something off, you can recognize their work and affirm them and tell them, I knew you could do it, good job. So that kind of praise and recognition can help a lot in their motivation right now. So you want to encourage them, help them see when their hard work does pay off with success. Now, if they really do need more help, or the assignment is really just too advanced for them, you can also help them learn how to advocate for themselves with their teachers, to ask for additional resources or ask for help on something. So you're helping them problem solve to try to be more capable as well. So that's kind of what we're looking for in terms of using these ABCs to drive motivation home. And again, I just highlight that need for empathy. It goes along with all these, that really can help students and children to feel more capable and more motivated at this time.